I made a decision. Enough is enough.
Welcome,
It's showtime.
my people. Showtime. Oh, guys. Happy New Year. It's another wonderful edition of Sorry for My Language, episode 14. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. So here we are. Oh, first of all, a shout out to the money. Brought to you by our sponsors, Grindstone Universal, the epitome of urban luxury where progress is made and truth is revealed. What I'm wearing right now is a Grindstone jacket. It's called the Jedi hoodie. I wish I had the full body shot, but I'll raise up for y'all. I'll raise up. Ooh. Let me model. Yeah, because it's like that. Unofficial sponsor. This hat right here that I'm wearing is by Bobby Joseph. That's my man. Go to bobbyjoseph.com. He has a wonderful brand that's made with integrity. It's black owned, and it got the sauce. Every now and then I'm gonna be wearing some people's things on here who I respect. Only because I respect them. The bag would have to be so big if I didn't like it and wear it, that you might not ever catch me doing that. Our last sponsor, Smoking Jacket Labs Cologne. Now, for the person who really respects the game, it's a couple things you're going to have together. You're going to have your hat wear together. You're going to have your eyewear together. And you're going to have your smell good together. Soon to be found at grindstoneuniversal.com. Smoking Jacket Labs Cologne. When you see the SJL, you know you smell. You know how it smells. We're going to come up with a slogan. Anyway, it's good to be seen on this side of 2025. Man, we get tested, don't we? We get tested to find ourselves where we are. Got another ring around the tree. You know what I'm saying? Everybody didn't make it, man, and we have to just give some grace to people who became recent ancestors. Some of y'all might have lost parents, friends, relatives, pets. You know, so much comes in the new year that when it's the holiday time, you really have to be sensitive to that when it comes to other people, because some people don't like the holidays because it's like an alarm clock to one of their worst memories, you know? And for some people, it's an alarm clock to do much better. However it goes down, don't sleepwalk. 2025, it's something about 2025. I don't know. It's something about the way the numbers are shaped, or, you know, it just has symmetry with it. I expect different things this year. For better, you know, and who's to really measure better or worse? But I expect fly shit to happen in 2025. Partially because I know I'm precipitating my own fly shit. So when you're the rainmaker, expect rain. NT ways. Boy, this hat is smacking them, ain't it? Shout out to you, Bobby. And these fabrics, by the way, man, all these fabrics I'm wearing, all this business that I got, everything I'm doing right now. Hold on. Let me get y'all the wide angle. All these fabrics, right? Wait, hold up. I even got a zip pocket right here. Can y'all see this? Just for your handy dandies. You know, whatever your handy dandies might be. It's all types of little things, gadgetry in these. So this jacket that I made, there's only a couple of them because I make small batch, refined. You know, when you get it, you got a jewel. You're never going to find one gem the same if you're out in nature digging for gems. Same thing here. So this is made of, it's a light denim, a very light denim. I have a roll of Tom Brown fabric. That's THOM. Brown with the E at the end. For those of y'all who know, Like, you know, just the quality that imparts. These gold zippers right here, golden zippers, some of the best zippers on the market. I'm not even going to tell you the brand name because that doesn't matter, but just know that you're getting pure quality. And then this button right here, what is this? You see that? That's a shark's tooth. I mean, no. It's not a shark's tooth. It's the tooth of something. But I just found fly shit. I took my time. Go to Grindstone Universal, you get it. It comes about to it's about mid-thigh length. So it's a long cut. But look at the multicolor Jedi hoodie on grindstoneuniversal.com. Fly as hell. This hat right here, when he makes these hats, he gets all these different fabrics from Africa. If you go to bobbyjoseph.com, he'll get, man, what a plug this is, but it's a joy to plug my homie's businesses. From different parts of Africa, he gets these different fabrics. They all have their own story, and they give you the crown of beauty. So, without further ado, oh, and you know where he's from.
Oakland, California, that's where I'm from. Don't stop, Mac.
I'm not lying. It's something mysteriously wonderful about Oakland, California. But without further ado, today's topic on Sorry for My Language is the arc of life. Probably a much better title for that, but it's the arc, okay? Now, the arc that I'm talking about is how one lives and matures, all right? It starts one way, it ends up another way, a whole bunch of stuff happens in the middle. Allow me to explain as I drink my water. We will be hydrated this year. Generally, I got this information from the wonderful comedian George Carlin. He said, generally, you start off as a jester, you exist as a poet, and you become a philosopher. Now, at that time, he was talking about how the arc happens in comedy. But if you can take that same maturation phase and move it to different phases of life. Jester, which is the one who plays around, goofy, slapstick. Poet, the one who's more eloquent, a little more experimental, one who might strike something in your imagination, but the one who takes time to build something beautiful, sometimes shocking. And a philosopher, one who does not need to shock you, but one who invites you into their frame of mind. And they're very observant. They're patient when they need to be. They don't engage in things that they don't need to engage in. And they exude that. And they have a philosophy, generally more calm. Can you think of people in your Hall of Fame of who you enjoy as either an athlete, a musician, a writer, a comedian, a person, maybe even in yourself, who has gone from jester to poet to philosopher? Now, all those are figurative most of the time, unless it's actually a comedian. It's something wonderful about that. Now, the thing that made me think about that, Ellen DeGeneres has a show not a show, but a comedy special. It came out in 2024. I didn't even know. I just was flicking through some stuff and found it last night. And when Ellen DeGeneres was fairly new, I used to watch her doing stand-up. And she was one of them genuinely hella funny people. It would be like Seinfeld, dang, I can't even, the names of the people escape me from back in the day who were comedians, but they'd be on HBO and they were just kind of starting. You know, they had all the jokes in the 80s comedians. This was before she got her show. So Ellen was hella funny, an official one. So I was like, man, let me see what Ellen got. And why did she get kicked out of Hollywood? Because she was mean to somebody? She addressed that in the special. I recommend it for those of you who like to see people thoroughly in mode. So, excuse me for that. So, Ellen at this point is in her philosophy phase. She's comfortable with herself. Okay. If you look at Dave Chappelle right now, he's in philosophy mode. He's comfortable with himself. You look at Richard Pryor at the end of his career, philosopher, comfortable. David Letterman, all these people started out as true slapstick. Even Bob Marley. Bob Marley didn't start out as the Jester, but when he first started out, he was on some ooh baby baby, on some doo-wop group type stuff. He became the philosopher very quickly. His stages went very quickly. So the angle that people take in their growth is one that I truly appreciate. And the only way you find that is by living your truth. Okay. You could even say that as a chef, right? Anything. Like you might start out, man, they got the best chicken wings ever. Or, oh man, you make the best microwave popcorn with the sauce on it. But then you evolve to be able to have nuances and hints and tints and shades of reductions that you put on something to make food a memory. In all phases of development, in all types of fields, one should experience, if you're in your true growth, you should experience the jester, poet, philosopher arc. One thing that I've noticed in hip hop recently, this is 2024 hip hop mainly, but I've noticed that the 50-plus-year-old rappers, and it really was before 2024, but 2024, it got populated. You have rappers using their rap skill, using their personalities to actually show who they are. You get to see their growth. And back in the 90s, I remember when Raekwon had only Built for Cuban Links. And it was him and Ghostface and other Wu-Tang members chiming in. But they just appeared to have vision beyond being in their 20s. And it was something about that wisdom from people in their 20s, just that vision. It wasn't wisdom yet, but because they didn't live it yet. But I always wondered what it would be like to see what hip hop looked like as people became grandfathers. What does music look like in a genre as the people age? What is the creation, not the performance? Because the performance, people are going to probably play their songs that they made when they were 19 up until the point where they're 99. But what does the creation of new music look like? What is your angle as a hip hopper, which is generally an edgy, when I say hip hopper, I mean a rapper. Not to minimize it and call you a hip hopper like it's some teeny bop shit, but what does your creation path look like? Are you gonna, the thing that probably broke you through is you was being honest. You were really feeling yourself. You were relating to people through who you were. Are you able to continuously do that? Are you able to continuously be honest as where you are? Bill Cosby broke through again. He reinvented himself, being honest as to where he was as a father. When he came out with the special, it was in the early 80s, it was called Bill Cosby Himself. Then he came out with Bill Cosby 49, but they were stand-up, and that's when he was 49 years old. But it were stand-up joints, and a lot of the jokes that he told in those stand-ups became skits in the Cosby Show. Shout out to Bill Cosby's comedy, not the other stuff. But shout out to Bill Cosby in 2025. So as you look at yourself in your path, are you stuck trying to recapture who you were? Are you stuck in who you are? Or are you real enough to be real with the moment and live in the moment as to who you really are, not what you identify as? Another thing that Ellen said in the special that grabbed me, She said that she was the show. Her whole identity was wrapped up in the show, which is a conundrum of being successful. Part of it, you have to be obsessed. In order to be successful, you have to be totally obsessed with what it is you do. That's the only way that you're going to put the amount of hours in it necessary to create the content, the detail, bring the people in, and be the one to oversee this thing that has your name on it. You have to be obsessed. Don't let anybody tell you about what the fuck they call that shit, work life division or some shit. I don't know. It's like the load management of life. Don't let people talk you into that. Damn, I'm get these buttons right. Fuck it. Neither of those was what I meant to do. But anyway, don't let anybody talk you into not in anything less than obsession with what your passion is, because you only have a limited amount of time to do it. You're soon going to have to take care of several things, or you probably have to take care of several things. Who's to say that your health is going to hold up? Who's to say that anything that you are thinking about is going to get the coordinating points in this lifetime to become what you think it is? So you have to be obsessed to make it what you can while you can. You'd be surprised how short 20 years is. So watching Ellen do her thing and talk about where she is now, part of that was her being wrapped up in her world at the Ellen show. At that time, she was in her poet phase. Some things shocking, some things funny, some things coherent, some things very well done and functioning. She evolved into the philosopher phase. So that's what I'm just trying to draw the parallels to my life, and just questions for you to ask yourself. When do you become the philosopher? The one who has the grace to be who they are, but then at the same time, the one who has the youthfulness in spirit and the flexibility in spirit to become something new tomorrow. Because you're not so tightly wrapped up. You're not so tightly attached to your shit, I think this arc is important. You find it in athletes, right? When NBA players first come in the league, one thing that you'll find is that they shoot a lot, they dribble a lot, they run a lot. They run fast. In that time that they're doing that, the experienced players will be like, you don't have to do all that every night. It's a smarter way to play. Not that you give less effort, but you position yourself better on the court so you don't have to run around and do that. You don't have to take 55 dribbles. There are better ways to position your way on the court, pace your shots out, position yourself on defense when you see the team running a play, and you will conserve a certain amount of energy. But that's where the philosopher comes in. That's where the Bill Russell mind state comes in. Even LeBron is there. LeBron is extremely athletic, but he's a basketball philosopher. Shout out to LeBron. And in the LeBron MJ conversation, I'm MJ all day. But when somebody has reached genius level and they don't have to outdo you, but they can still outdo you, that's when they got you. When a comedian like, say, Lunel, matter of fact, shout out to Lunel, she could sit there in a chair and give it up, dressed beautifully, and just sit there in that chair and dice up any comedian who wanted. She's at her philosopher level. And I grew up in Oakland, California when she was on Soul Beat Network. And that was more the Jester level. Soul Beat, man, for those of y'all who know about Oakland or who grew up in Oakland, if you know about Soul Beat, what a time, right?
Oakland, California, that's where I'm from. Don't stop macking. Don't stop tapping. Don't stop.
Yo, Oakland, the Soul Beat channel, if they stuck around long enough, or if Keenan Ivory Wayans knew about them, he would have incorporated that shit into Living Color. It was just a a hell of a funny. I mean, the commercials, but it was all black people, and everybody was trying as hard as they could to promote their business. It was like a public access channel. But anyway, um, it was a lot of foolery going on that channel, but it wasn't a lot of buffoonery, which is a trip, right? So anyway, there's certain people who stick out in culture to me as people who have found their philosopher way. I can appreciate that. And as we are entering, well, as we've entered the doors of this new year, 2025, with all this wonderful symmetry, then what would that be called? Wisdom, knowledge, wisdom, power. That's where we are right now. Shout out to all the sevens out there. That's just supreme mathematics for those of you all. Whenever you hear knowledge, wisdom, understanding, that each number 1 through 9, including the 0, is assessed, is given a word that matches to a affirmative. Each number has an affirmative word given to it. So that's what that wisdom cipher, wisdom power was, what I just said. I just got a download. That's all. Giving it to you as I get it, you know. But as we enter this new year, here we are. What phase of life are you in? I mean, which one is it? Is it are you still the jester? Are you the one who, I don't know, you got to be the loudest? You got to be the drunkest? Are you actually doing something? I hope you're working on something, but are you actually doing something? Everybody be talking about they working on something. Are you actually doing something that's going to roll you off into a new thing that people can see? Can people see it? Can people experience it? Can people touch it? Is it going to be part of people's lives? Are you being somewhat pivotal in anything that you're doing in life? Are you in that poet phase? Or are you in your more observant phase where when you walk, you're giving grace because you give grace, but you still accept it? Are you the philosopher? Are you prepared to die? I wanted that shit to be somewhere elegant. I wanted to do that. But where are you? You know, and just know you can't skip the line in this, but as you notice your favorite comedian, your favorite actor, some actors that you might be very tired of, right? Because you're like, man, this dude tell the same jokes. He's trying to get the same rise. Some people get stuck in jester phase. Matter of fact, think about the Beastie Boys. The Beastie Boys were without question in the mid to late 80s. They were the jesters, right? They were the ones who, you know, all the antics, the beer drinking, all that shit, dope ass albums. But that was their jester phase. Kind of when they got right past Ill Communication, that album that came out like 93, 94, dope ass album. They were a little more experimental, a little less jesterous, a little more poetic. And when I say poetic, I don't mean like a poet writes words on paper, but I mean it's more flowy. The way they are living is more structured. It's less slapstick. It's more coherent with itself. Ill Communication was the beginning of that. It was like, oh shit, what's going on here? And it's a classic. I just use the Beastie Boys because I fucking love the Beastie Boys. Then when you get to the End Sound from Way Out and the albums past that, albums are incredible. And then it's like, wait, these dudes who was drinking the beer and tripping and doing all the wild things, they're the ones composing this music and playing the instruments. Let's enter the philosopher phase. And you never know who's going to be the one to transcend. And by the time, like if you watch the Beastie Boys, I can't remember what date it was or what would do, but they were on Saturday Night Live one time. When you watch them playing the instruments that they play, that ain't no joke. You can't do that without being immersed in that. You can't be that good without being totally about that life. And if you want something, You have to be totally 100% about it. Or you risk remaining a jester. Or you risk remaining just a non-factor. It's Michael Jackson. Not to say that he was ever the jester, but kind of like in his Wiz phase from the Wiz and earlier. He was singing the songs that they were dope as hell, and his voice has always been beautiful. But he was doing that more to entertain the people in front of him, more so than to say something that came from his perspective. And I think on his last his last tour that he was about to do after, like right before he got deleted, I think the philosophy was about to be his hallmark of his career. And the powers that be were shook. Led to the deletion of Michael Jackson. All that being said, those are samples of people who I respect, who not only musically, but even as actors, there's certain people like Eddie Murphy. Man, Eddie Murphy, you already know he started out playing buckwheat. But then, probably about 10 years ago, really like in the last 10 years, Eddie Murphy movies have been excellent. He's been playing all these different characters. That one where he was the father, and his name was Akbar. That was a Netflix special, came out about 2024, 2023, something like that. The role he played in that joint was so believable, and it was so not slapstick, but it was funny. It was just, to be an actor, to do that, you have to have accepted yourself on a certain level. I can't remember what year this movie came out, but it was called Mr. Church. That shit wasn't funny at all. It wasn't meant to be funny. He played a very serious role, and it was dope as hell. He's doing his arc, I think more when he was in the mid-90s, early mid-90s, like doing The Distinguished Gentleman and Boomerang and those movies. He was in his poet flow. He had his hands on, he had his hands on the button. He was doing it. But now it seems like he's less attached to bigging himself up and more attached, well, not even more attached, but just more observant. It's flowing. It's a beautiful thing to see. It's beautiful when you accept the process, the age process, the aging process, the maturation process. It's natural and it's wonderful. Do your best not to get stuck wherever you might find yourself, because getting stuck isn't cute. Men, I know you're getting the hair plugs. I think that means something to you. The shit looks fucking stupid. That nigga over there, he got hair plugs. Look at him. Like, what the hell's going on? You're holding on to something that has passed, and you're holding on to a phase that no longer favors you. Don't nobody want to see a 45-year-old, 20-year-old. Don't nobody want to see that. Stay hydrated. That's the key. Get your nutrient game up. That's the key. Take care of what is there. All the weird science to keep your, I don't know. You get the big ass teeth. You get the hair plugs. Women, you getting an injection every damn where. Y'all are looking like floaties. And what are you doing for the people who come after you who want to study this? They're going to be like, man, what the fuck is that? Like, why is that person shaped like that? Like, when they look at the photos and everything, you're trying to understand the past, it's going to look completely dumb as hell. It looks dumb now, but I know that when you look in the mirror, you can't really tell what it is. This is men and women. Like, this is everybody faking, instead of taking care of what's to be taken care of and aging gracefully. People are out here trying to look like themselves how they did in the Jester phase. They want to stay Jesterific, but you're not. It's looking weird. It's not graceful. There's a grace to making it to the end. Jester, poet, philosopher. If you can use that symbolically, you'll be able to have a beautiful life in which each day you accept yourself. You work on yourself. You reward yourself with working on yourself. You don't reward yourself by doing things to yourself where you think you're fooling us. We're not even fooled, you know? And it's a tangent, but I'm gonna accept it, you know. Yeah, some ladies, you get the fake tits and you walk around. The sweater meat looks good from 10 feet away. But man, when you feel them Jones, we're not trying to be like that. We're not trying to deal with that. That ain't hot. And then you start thinking like, damn, what the hell is going on with this person mentally to make that be a thing that they thought was that, or the people with the big ass veneer teeth or the hair plug guys. Come on, man. You okay? Even down to the dudes who dye their beards and shit. Bruh, we be seeing the little white gray growing out from under the black top. Like we see the roots growing out, and the beard shit, that should be growing fast. We see you. So then it's like, dude, how come you couldn't just be who you were? If you want to look good when you get older, stay in shape. Work out. Walk. Stay hydrated. Eat more things that grow on trees than things that come in packages that were manufactured. You're stuck in a phase. And in 2025, we do not want to be stuck. It's just something about that number that to me, it just gives a movement. It's like we moving. I don't know what it is. I don't know where we moving. But I have to be ready to accept the fact that I don't know. The question is, are you ready to accept that? Have you attached your identity to your job? And your job leaves, and then what do? Or you might excel in your job with that obsession. That's all for you to understand about yourself. But it's something that I think is valuable if you at least question and examine that. So, in the spirit of living well in 2025, take the next few days. It's going to be very cold on the East Coast. So, y'all don't have to be out. You don't have to be nowhere doing nothing meaningless. You can spend time with yourself. In that time, use the time. Don't let the time use you. Hopefully, like in December, post Thanksgiving, all that, you did all the drinking and all the foolery you had to do. But now it's your time. It's your time now. Build. Don't let this year, because nothing else is really going to stay the same. So don't be the same person. If you were a jester, walk your way into poet mode. If you were a poet, slide off into philosopher mode. But the wild thing about it is that your intentional work will help you grow, but you can't intentionally become one who goes from one phase of life to another. You're going to naturally go from the phase that you are into the next phase that awaits you. Yeah. That's the crazy thing about growth. If you're a tree, you might grow a branch through a fence, or you might grow through the phone wire, or you might grow where nothing else is. Like, the tree's job is to grow. The obstacles that await it, it's not up to the tree. Kind of trippy, ain't it? Kind of trippy. I don't know. I think about that shit and I'd be like, damn, what an idea. Damn. I'm putting little labels on these joints. Because that's the best thing to do. But regardless, however we treat right now, whatever mistakes we've made, we have to grow from those like the tree. You might grow through the fence. Who knows? You might have been planted near the ocean. You might grow in something very tropical. You might grow through the telephone wire. That's not up to you. What's up to you is your growth. And hopefully your arc of growth is going from your past jester self. Maybe you might currently be a jester, to your poet phase, to your philosopher phase, so you could die gracefully, to yourself, and not look like a fool to yourself, thinking you fooled us. That being said, it's 1125. I appreciate you for tuning in. Sorry for my language. I'm Grindstone. Visit Grindstone Universal and do your best to be your best. Tune in again. Like, subscribe. F with me. And listen to my album. Sorry for my language.